Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Noisy Neighbours podcast with myself, Alex, joined by my younger brother, Christian. Christian, Friday night, how we doing, mate?
Yo, man, all good, definitely. Dry Jan's coming to an end tonight for me, so I'm in a belting mood, mate.
You've still
Not
got a
letting the
week.
football damage my mood.
You still got a week left.
I know, mate, but I'm calling it early. I've had enough. This is what City have done to me. So
One too many thrown away leads.
that's it, mate. That was the. It was the old straw that broke the camel's back. That PSG one. So
I bet, yeah. Okay. So anyway, right. Short one tonight. I really want to get into some on-topic news at the moment. We've got Alejandro Garnacho is rumoured to be out the door of Manchester United, with Napoli and Chelsea rumoured to be very interested. We know Napoli are interested. They have reports suggest a €50 million bid rejected earlier this week, I think.
saw that.
Now in come Chelsea. Now Napoli might not be able to reach United's valuation of the player. However, we all know Chelsea.
Oh, we do.
We think Chelsea are going to be able to probably meet whatever the valuation is. It's probably going to be £60 million, which is probably about €70 million, I'd say. So, yeah, Chelsea are apparently primed to make a bid today. Okay, so we're looking at £60 million for Alejandro Garnacho from Chelsea, Manchester United, the selling club. What are your initial thoughts on that? And how likely do you think this transfer is of happening?
I think now Chelsea have come in, I think it's very likely. We've seen this in the past. I think they'll get him. And it seems like he wants to move. We'll go into it a bit more. You know more things than me about it, but his agent sniffing round at Stamford Bridge. I think he wants it.
He was there on Monday.
Mate, there's no reason why this won't go through, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it last night after the game as well. Garnacho was walking around the pitch, a bit of an extended walk, waving at the crowd. So it looks like it's happening. Okay, so as a player, what do you think of Garnacho? We're looking at £60 million for a 20-year-old. He's had over 100 appearances for Manchester United. That is insane to me. But he's had over 100 appearances. What do you think? And from a Chelsea perspective, do you think 60 mil is a good buy for this player?
I certainly give him more leeway than you do. I know you've got strong opinions, which we'll get into. However, I mean, I don't know what they think they're getting, because for that money, you would want a guy that's going to come in and, for me, be able to produce something off the wing. And we've seen, history tells us from watching this guy game in, game out, we know what to expect from him. He's a cut-in merchant that will shut his eyes and slap it in the direction of the goal, but most of the time it doesn't end up in the back of it. So, mate, it's a tough one. Yes, I think they'll pay the money. Is he worth it? Absolutely not. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Okay, so my thoughts on this. He's made 119 appearances. He scored 23 goals for the club. Feels like we're into year 3 now of Garnacho. I feel like last year he played a lot of football.
Yeah.
My opinion with Garnacho, and I know for a fact people are going to disagree with this. A lot of people will disagree with this, which is fine. Look, we're not all men who have the same opinions here. I don't think Garnacho is very good at football, right? That's my opinion. I've watched a lot of this guy very closely. I think last year he was a product of a bad season. It happens where he had very, very okay stats. He had 7 goals and 4 assists last season. So he didn't, what people do is they isolate statistics from a season and then they go, well, he did this at 19. So that means when he's 21, he will get double, which would be 14 goals and 8 assists. Now, typically, I'm not that shocked. This year has been a serious fall-off statistically, and his general play has been poor as well. But I just want to get into the general play now. Alejandro Garnacho is a winger, wide forward. You summed him up perfectly. A cutting merchant. I love that. Garnacho lacks searing pace. I'm just going to name some. I'm just going to do this factually. In my opinion, this is what my eyes tell me I'm watching on telly and in person.
Yeah.
Alejandro Garnacho lacks searing pace. He lacks 1v1 ability. What I mean by that is he can't really beat a man without sort of bumbling through him. He can't really cross accurately. He'll stick it in the box and hope it lands on someone, but he's not a great crosser, not a great passer. and his shooting is wayward. Does he have a lot of those shooting scenarios for himself? I'd say that's his best asset. He can come in and get the yard, but the shooting is wayward. He's not a good shooter. One will fly in the top corner against Leicester. One flew in the top corner when Van Nistelrooy was the coach. He refused to celebrate that, by the way. Mate, these don't go in that often. You should have been celebrating that one. You're not that guy. Trust me. So I'm looking at his attributes and I don't see it. Okay, so now you could go, well, he's 20 and now this is my favourite bit, the potential. Okay, so if you're saying if you're going to come back at me with his age, then you're agreeing with me that he's not 60 million player right now. So you're going to say he's going to get better than this, which I think even the biggest Garnacho fan in the world, even his brother, would probably say right now he's not worth 60 mil. I think he's worth nowhere near that. You're a bit more in between. Even his biggest fans would say he's not worth that now. I'd imagine Chelsea would agree. Now, how is he going to improve? Is he going to improve? Because the raw minerals of a devastating 1v1 winger, he doesn't have. He's not got quick feet. He's not got the body feint. He's not got that low centre of gravity that top wingers have that you can beat people with. And that's my breakdown of Garnacho as a player. Now, look, I might be wrong. I'll be the first person to come out here and say, wow, I was wrong. If he can go and get a 20-goal season at Chelsea, I'll be stunned. But just on the attributes and how I've said it there, what do you agree? What do you disagree with?
I was just going to say, I think that's such a fair analysis. I know some people will be pissed off listening if they are a big Garnacho fan or something, but what you said is exactly right. I think he lacks the fundamentals, the fundamental basics of being a young raw winger that you could go, oh, well, he's got the potential because he can go on in that area. Yeah, but if he hasn't even got the fundamentals to build on, where do we go from there? Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, what we're seeing from him at the moment, he's got very limited ability. He does just cut in and shoot, and he's not very accurate with his shooting. I mean, to be honest, that's a compliment. He's not accurate at all with his shooting. So I don't know where his ceiling is, but for me, I don't even think he'll ever get to be a £60 million player, never mind surpass it. So I don't know what Chelsea are doing. And also, they've already got better. Does he make the team, in your opinion?
No, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, they've heavily invested in they've heavily invested in the whole side. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I think they're going to try and offload. I think they're going to try and offload to you, maybe like some player deal. And I'll tell you what, if you can get Nkunku, I know the guy's been very injury prone, but if you take him and try and, sort him out, sort his injuries out, that'd be a brilliant deal for United.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's two players that interest me. Felix has always interested me. I get the whole he's failed everywhere.
Limited output.
But he's he's technically very good, and I'd still think there's a player in there somewhere. He reminds me of Kaká, a not as good as Kaká, clearly.
Clip that.
But he's a tall player, a little bit angly. Can dribble, can do. He, in my opinion, he does have fundamentals. He can't piece it together. He doesn't seem to have a position. Nkunku, great goal scorer from what we've seen at Leipzig.
Yeah.
So just injuries again. But yeah, look, there's two people I'd have a stab at there for sure. I think with the potential thing on, Garnacho's going to improve to get to be worth this or surpass the 60 mil price tag. Or just be a starter for a top 4 club. I personally don't see that for a few reasons. I think people get sucked into he's going to get better because of the age, right? That's all people focus on.
That's all they're basing it on.
This is what I was saying about us talking about Euro the other day. And no, don't tell me how old he is. Don't say to me Garnacho is worth 60 million because he's not even in his prime yet. What if he is?
Mate, there's just a point. So I was watching, I know we're going to get onto the game from last night, right?
Yeah.
But there was a point in the commentary, and I think it was Ali McCoist, and they were going on about Lenny Yoro, and I'm not picking on the guy or anything. He actually might become good, but currently he's not at that level. And they were going, on the commentary, they said, he's got bags of potential. Well, I'm sorry, what are you basing this on? Because I know you haven't watched him at his previous club. There's no fucking way. And all we have seen of him, he isn't very good. So I don't know are you basing he's got loads of potential because Man United were daft enough to pay the amount that they asked for him? Well, that's
But
not a good enough
yeah,
reason.
yeah,
When did we suddenly stop basing our opinions on what we
yeah.
see with our fucking eyes on the pitch?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this summarizes a lot of young players where you're paying 60 mil because somebody's telling you they're going to get better. And
Yeah,
I've got a really good example of that. Marcus Rashford came bursting onto the scene. He's never really improved his fundamentals because of sort of how he is as a play style. He's not technically secure. He burst onto the scene with unpredictability, very direct, good ball striker at times, even though that's now streaky. But it's like people would have looked at Rashford at 18 and gone, oh my God, he's this good now. Imagine in 7 years. But he's never really gone on. Yes, the stats have got better because, yeah, your composure has improved a little bit. The ball striking, he plays more minutes.
yeah,
But generally, he's not gone on to be world class, even though he was a very good 18-year-old. And that's the thing of Wayne Rooney became world class because he was amazing at the fundamentals at
yeah,
16. That's the players, the world class players now, or going back, there was a lot more world class players in my opinion. They had the fundamentals. What I'm saying with Garnacho is, it's like this. He doesn't pass the eye test, and the stats aren't great. Just on the stats as well. Before I know, we've been into the last season's his statistics last season. This season, 21 appearances, 3 goals, 1 assist. He's had 34 shots. 20 of them have been on target. 34 shots, my word. 44 dribbles. He's completed 12 dribbles. He's a 27% successful dribbler. Now, you know me, I don't love, reducing football to numbers. However, he's a 1 in 4 dribbler, and the eye test backs that up.
yeah,
He loses it every 3 dribbles. Now, sorry, every 4 dribbles he loses it 3 times. Now, that to me is in line with what my eyes have been telling me. If you'd have said to me, how successful of a dribbler do you think he is? I would go, I reckon 1 in 4 dribbles he probably doesn't lose it, or 1 in 5 probably. That is what the stats say. So
yeah.
you've got a dribbler. It's not like he's lethal at it either. It's like that one successful one will be he'll run him a bit, maybe work a yard and get it in the box. He ain't skinning people. He ain't sitting them down. He lacks that fundamental 1v1 ability.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing. Hazard did not lack it. Hazard had amazing low centre of gravity, great strength. He got his body in the way. His speed. Hazard was as quick with the ball as he was without it. That's what I'm saying here about Garnacho. And I've felt very strongly about this player. And it isn't going to change unless, obviously, we see something at Chelsea.
I think the thing is as well, what area would you even work on him with? Like, what area are Chelsea going to get him in? I mean, if they're paying 60 million now, I mean, apparently you're asking for 70. So if they're paying 70 million now and you get that over the line,
I think
yeah, 70 million, you're right. So 60 million quid, right?
Yeah.
So if they pay 60 million now, they're basically saying, how old is he? About 20, 21.
He's 21 in July.
20 years old. Right. So they're basically saying by the time he's 25, he's going to be £150 million player minimum. Now, I do not see that in a million years. I don't know what area they're seeing that he's going to get to that level. Like, are we seeing any sort of, a Riyad Mahrez in him or anything like that? Because ultimately, that is what he is basing his game on. He cuts in and shoots, and he's not very fucking good at it because the stats tell you that, and your eyes tell you that if you watch it.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I think if you just reduce it to a very black and white conversation about wingers, now you either have there's a lot more to this as what you can watch as a scout or as a manager or as a fan. But really, there's 2 types of wingers. You just mentioned one there. Riyad Mahrez did not have Syrian pace, but he used trickery.
Yeah, he was an incredibly technical dribbler.
And he had the best first touch of maybe any winger in Premier League history. And he was a good shooter, a very good finisher.
Yeah.
Then you have searing pace, unpredictability, Bale, Giggs, those players that were really good. Then you've got your ones that are a bit of both. Hazard, very, very quick, with and without the ball, and also very technical, very strong. Nani was a bit like that. And these players are like, they're a little bit of both. Now, where does Garnacho fit into that? I'm really intrigued. Anybody thinks I'm wrong, you're wrong, watching this video, loves Garnacho, please tell me where Garnacho fits into that. He's not the searing pace winger. He's not the stand and deliver old school winger like Beckham. And he's not got the trickery of the first touch or the IQ of a Mahrez, Please, I'd really love to hear.
I think that's an interesting take, and I think if you look at that and you actually boil that down, for instance, we've got one called Jeremy Doku, right? And he has the pace to beat most, if any, fullback in the league. However, he gets past them and he has no idea what to do, and his production is awful. What we get out of him, he can't score, barely gets any assists. Now, Garnacho, I don't know what area you work on him with, because he had, like you just said, he's not got the pace. So at least with Doku, you're like, well, he can beat the man. We've not really got a problem in that area. He just can't finish it. So someone could argue saying, well, if Doku improves his finishing, you've got a serious player there. By the way, I'm not saying he will. I don't even rate Doku. I'm just making a fair point in that Garnacho hasn't even got that bit down. He can't really beat a man. So his only thing, his whole game is based on he cuts in and he shoots, and one in every, what would you even say, one in every, how many shots actually hit the back of the net?
Well, not a lot, clearly. I think he's had, just going off his statistics this year, I can't remember his goals exactly. One flew in the top corner against Leicester. The other two, off the top of my head, I'm not sure what they were. So one's gone in the top corner and he's had 34 shots.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the other two flying in the top corner. So I would say 1 in 34 this season has gone in the top corner, which is shocking. If you multiply that, what is he, about a 3% long?
And then you also look
at 3%.
You also look a bit further into it as well, and you're going to be able to spend a lot more money to replace this guy. You could potentially spend north of 170 million to replace him. Now, is any United fan, so someone might watch this, might be pissed off at both of us, they might say we know fuck all. However, are you going to sit there in the comments and you're going to tell me that you would take Garnacho over the 170 million you will be able to spend to replace the guy?
I mean, exactly. It opens up a door for United that we've not had, and you like to think that under a bit of better guidance that we hopefully have a new manager, we can sign someone better than Garnacho.
Well, there's a little league called Serie A. I'm sure there's a winger who's got about 8 or 9 goals.
Atalanta can fuck off. They ain't getting another dime.
Oh, mate, they'll see you're getting a payday. They'll be like,
oh. But look at the clubs. Atlanta. Okay, Diallo's turned out okay, in fairness. Atalanta striker, Bologna striker, and we wonder why we're 12th, 13th, So I totally agree with you. I think get him out the door, take the money, and go and invest it now. Give Amorim something better than this shit. Let the guy have a little bit of a spend, and then more of a spend in the summer, hopefully. But I just, so on Garnacho, so he played last night. A little bit surprised because he could get injured and then the whole deal's off, which maybe says to you United aren't pushing him out the door. He played last night at Garnacho against Rangers, 2-1 win for United, and the reaction, I watched the game, the reaction on Twitter was astounding, to be honest. He had this statement game I've seen. This is the middle finger to Ineos for wanting to sell him game. Wow, okay, so I've got to be honest, my memory of that was not that. I went on, so I thought, okay, well, let's have a look at some highlights. So I'm just sent you some highlights now of the game last night. Thought we could both watch them. We'll try and
we'll watch. I mean, to be fair, even before I've watched this, I must need a new set of fucking eyeballs, because that's certainly not my opinion.
I said it on the watch along. I said I need new glasses or a new telly or both with Garnacho because I don't see it. But anyway, let's go. Let's have a look at these highlights. Yeah, ready?
Okay.
Go. So here we go.
Yeah.
Alejandro Garnacho. Here we go. He runs his defender, tackled, slide tackle. Okay. Next clip, he's cutting inside and he tees off and it goes miles wide. Okay, right. Sighter, or is this all you can do?
This is exactly what we were just describing, what this guy's got.
Here we go. Oh, nice one. About 16 yards out on his right foot. Leans back, lays it straight into the stretty end. Yeah, rubbish. Puts a cross in, overhits it, nobody there. He's now whinging at probably Xerxes for not being stood on the far post for his crap cross. He's on the left again against James. Is that James Tavernier? He's run straight into him and lost the ball. He's now a bit of work rate in the middle of the pitch. He's chasing back, but he's shrugged off it. Oh, 6 yard box. Got hits the post from point blank range. Didn't take a real touch, get it out of his feet, hit it from under his feet with his left foot right
It's
against the
everything
post.
we've just been saying.
Here we go. He's running it. He's fell over on the ball. Next one, 1v1. He's kicked it 15 yards and just twatted it into the penalty spot with his left foot. Nobody there. Another dangerous position. He's just gone a bit of an inside-out dribble. Didn't even move the ball or move his hips. Lost it. And there we go. He's lost the ball there and he's clapping the crowd. Hopefully saying goodbye there. Right, okay. Christian, which bit of that clip was statement, was middle finger to Ineos? What are fans seeing from this performance where it's the head down, dribble in straight lines, shoot like you feel like because you're Robin, apparently? What are we missing? Because apparently he was man of the match last night in certain massive streamers' eyes.
Or the only conclusion I can come to is just that it's some sort of emotional, sad connection that people aren't watching the game with their eyes. They're just blinded by his age and they think he might become something. But to be honest, right, so how I used to watch football, how I still do, is when a young player comes into the club, I base potential on, right, let's watch the first 5 games. Do I think they might be doing things wrong, don't get me wrong, they're not going to be perfect at 20, 19, 20, 21. However, is there enough that I'm seeing in them first 5 games that I think they're going to go on to do something? And if the answer to that is absolutely fucking not, then I don't keep peddling it. I don't keep peddling some false narrative. The guy's not good enough.
Well, this, I mean, yeah, I completely agree with your point. Also, just focusing on this Rangers game, and this is the issue I feel as a United fan, that we have to battle with fans to describe what we're seeing with our eyes. Now, either standards have dropped or there's an emotional connection to the player that they don't know, by the way. They don't know this guy from Adam. He's just a fucking player. He doesn't know their name. He never will and never meet them. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm watching these highlights and I'm seeing head down, dribbling into defenders, lacks real quality there. He didn't skin one person, really. When he threatened to work the yard on the left-hand side, he either just about got there an off-balance cross, or he got tackled or blocked. Now, that comes to the Syrian pace argument. He doesn't have it. It's not a go at the guy.
Do you know another thing I've noticed with him? His balance isn't very good.
No.
His ball control isn't great. Now, we have just described, right? We've basically just said, Man United are after selling a winger for about 70 million euro, and he's not got great balance. He can't really beat a man, and his finishing isn't good.
Yeah.
So
we've just looked at the highlights, and I'm so glad he had this statement game, because I haven't pulled up shit highlights to back my opinion. I've pulled up highlights from a game that he was amazing in. Now that tells me that's his ceiling right now, and that's a good performance. He's fucking shit. And I've just backed it up. I've backed it up because of the idiots who say that was good. He's not good. They've almost proved themselves by saying that average performance we've just seen highlights from was good.
Mate, do you know the problem though, right? They listen too much to these idiot commentators, right? And they're going, oh, well, if anything's going to happen, it's going to be through Garnacho, right? Just because he's seen more of the ball. Yeah, but he's fucked up every time he's had the ball. Just because the player is seeing more of it doesn't mean he's doing anything or looks remotely dangerous. We've just watched highlights. He fucking fell over on his arse.
Exactly, yeah.
And the other time, he's clueless. He has no idea. You know, there was one bit on that highlight, right? And he puts his head down and he gets shown the line and he just peppers it into the box. He has no idea what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing next. So especially when he showed down the line, he's fucked, because his whole style of play is cut in and just blast it. So if he can't do that, it is just genuine. I'll just do whatever.
Yeah, and well, that's it, because if he tries to go down the line and give them a second thing to worry about, he's not really got a great cross on him, so they're not bothered. And half the time, I know he did get a crossing in that clip, but he's twatted it 15 yards. He just about keeps it in, and it's an outswinger to the edge of the box nearly. It's on the penalty spot. Even if there's somebody there, they ain't going to score a header from 14 yards, mate.
my genuine assessment of it, I think the guy is of very limited ability, and I think in 3-4 years he's going to be one of them players where we're still going to be hearing about fucking potential and his
Yeah.
age and all this shit. And mate, it's one of them. It's going to be a bottomless pit, and it hopefully for you guys, it'll be Chelsea fans that are peddling it and not yourselves. Yeah. Sell the guy, get the money, reinvest it, strengthen the squad. You could potentially strengthen 3 areas. That's a lot of money you could pump into the squad. You know what I mean? And for what? You're going to have guys out there, they're going to say, no, I'd rather have Garnacho. He's not even great in his position. So you're telling me you wouldn't rather strengthen in 3 to keep Garnacho, who isn't even good in 1?
I know. This is it, and it comes back to something that we spoke about on Monday, on the Monday pod, and we spoke about, I was speaking about United's principles and the academy, and I just want to reiterate my point on this. For the people now, there's tweets out there going, this is against everything Manchester United. It's not, though. It's become, we've become this club who shoehorns academy players into the first team. Manchester United would never did that. We promoted good, talented players, and we won trophies from it. These players, Ryan Giggs, amazing potential. But he was also a fantastic player at 17. David Beckham was. Paul Scholes was. These guys, we didn't put them in and they were shit. We put them in and they performed. You remember the Alan Hansen famous quote on Match of the Day?
Yeah.
You can never win a league with kids. They won the league with kids. We're not talking about that Giggs, Beckham and Scholes became good in 4 years, that everyone says is apparently you need a 4-year window to go from being potential to being a very good player. That never happened. Manchester United's principles was not promoting shit players and waiting for this imaginary 4-year development period that's never going to happen. That I just want to reiterate that point. Selling Garnacho is the best thing this club will have done in years with the academy. Yeah. And he's not in the academy. We bought him for 400 grand from Atletico, for fuck's sake. So even he's not from Salford, is he? You know,
it feels like United are doing it almost as a box ticker in recent years. I don't know your opinion on it as a Man United fan. It just feels like United are expected to pump through from the academy. So it doesn't matter how shit they've been producing these players. It's just we'll put them in and they'll end up. They're ending up staying there for a few years. I remember that one you brought up in the pod the other week, Hannibal. How many games did that guy get? There was another one as well. Me, you, and P were talking about it, right? And you said he's not even got a club at the minute, or it was Phil. Phil said he's not even got a club.
Brandon Williams.
So how are these guys getting a year at the club or even longer, and now they can't even get like a club at League 2 level?
Yeah, it's Hannibal. Hannibal made a total of 13 appearances for Manchester United first team. 13! He's fucking dross. Absolute shit.
And the thing is, bro, you knew that after 1. You didn't need the other 12.
I know.
To find out he was shit.
Brandon Williams has over 50 appearances for Manchester United. And you just said then he's not got a club. So it feels like he's going to improve. He's not got a club.
Yeah. Yeah, what potential are we talking about there? He's not even a footballer anymore.
Jesse Lingard, he made 232 appearances for Manchester United. That is not United principles. You want to talk about United principles? Lingard getting 230 games for the club is the opposite of what Manchester United was. They've gotten warped. Oh, he's a Manchester lad. Yes, but he's shit. United was never about that. Yes, we had our Phil Nevilles and we had our players that were cogs in the wheel, but they were cogs in the wheel because the core were amazing academy players. That's why Fergie could plug in an O'Shea. He could plug in a Wes Brown, a Darren Fletcher, because the core that Fergie promoted were amazing. Now, you're telling me, the people are talking about this kid, Garnacho, being a starter for United. Lingard was a starter. Even you could say Rashford to a degree. He was never really, but he's one of the better ones, to be fair to him. But yeah, mate, that's the academy in a nutshell.
Interested, right? I'd really be interested to have a chat with a Garnacho super fan who's going to tell me that he is class and we should never sell him for that money, right? I would be like, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Do you remember a guy called Nani? Would you say he's in the realm of Nani, or would you say he's much worse? Now, if they dare say, oh, he's as good,
Oh God.
I'd be like, you're fucking mental. He's not even in the same. He's not even in the same league as Nani. And
No,
Nani, there was plenty of years when Nani. Do you remember your fans with Nani? They were like, he's so frustrating. So
yeah.
why are you shoehorning a guy who is nowhere near that level?
No, I totally agree. Nani's a fantastic example because he was hammered by the fan base, and probably 20-year-old me hammered him as well. Nani was a million times better than Garnacho. Garnacho is in the Lingard Welbeck, which is scary for me because those two got. Well, we've
I
just
agree.
seen Lingard got 200 plus appearances. Januzaj was more talented than Garnacho. We're not.
100%.
You know, and Januzaj never made it really at the club. He was
better ball control, better dribbler.
Yeah, they have way more potential. But yeah, mate, honestly, I totally agree with you. God knows from Chelsea's perspective. I suppose that's a conversation for another day. But look, if people think because Chelsea are offering 60 mil, I just want to remind you of Mudryk. I just want to remind you of Pedro Neto and Madueke. These are players they've bought and play. Felix even, and who I said I don't mind Felix, but
Nicholas Jackson.
Nicholas Jackson, they're full of duck eggs, you know. So, hey, mate, it's going to be interesting. And this, if United sell Garnacho, it is a massive thing for me because it's yes, he's an academy player, but he's not going to cut it for this club at the level we want to get to. Sold, get your money. You just said invest it very wisely. You're going to improve. There's no doubt in my mind you can improve if you just spent the 60 million. Never mind, PSR allows you to spend 3 times that amount because he's an academy. So you're looking at 170 mil investment off the back of this. Fucking get short of him, honestly.
Do you want me to give you a reasoning from a City fan's point of view? I don't want. Bear in mind, anyone watching this, I do not want United to get better. I'm very happy with where Man United are currently. But as a City fan, I would rather you keep Garnacho other than having the 170 million because you would actually get better. So does that not say anything? I've got no dog in the fight. If anything, I would want United to get worse. And I believe keeping Garnacho and not having nearly 200 million makes you significantly worse. If you do have 170 mil, you're going to at least hit on one player, you would imagine.
Look, well, you like to think so, but again,
based on United's recruitment.
I think the potential where we could spend it is definitely a conversation for another day because we know what this club has. You know,
we could do another one.
Money in the bit, but yeah, I mean, look, there's no offer as of yet. At least there wasn't before we recorded this. So maybe people watching this, there's an offer gone in. United might have accepted. United might have rejected. I don't know. So look, I can't wait to see how this unfolds. But. In conclusion, for me, Garnacho, winger who lacks the fundamentals. He's not got the potential, in my opinion, to progress, to be a great player. And he wears Cristiano Ronaldo underpants. That's in itself is a good enough reason to sell him. I learned you in seriousness then, and I thought, I've got this. But no, seriously, that's another fucking fact, as well as his shit 1v1 ability. But yeah,
the worst bit.
Thanks for joining us, Christian, on a bit of a shorter one than normal.
Yeah, man.
Just wanted to hit the topic, see how this progresses. Hey, if the bid gets accepted, let's jump back on. Let's have a look what the money is, and
we can discuss. I want to, because I'd like your opinion on who you think you could move on and some potential.
And look,
anybody
watching this who completely disagrees with us, please comment. Tell us your thoughts on Garnacho.
Definitely.
I'm not against listening to other opinions. I love to hear other opinions. I'm not saying if I am wrong, I'll come and say I am wrong and I got it wrong. Just say what my eyes tell me. I don't know Garnacho. Sure, he's a decent kid, but that's just my opinion. Your opinion, Christine, as well. But yeah, please comment. Tell us what you guys think. Don't say. All I'll say is, here's the rules. Comment on here saying we're wrong, but don't be telling me when he were born. I don't give a shit. And don't be telling me his potential. Tell me I want actual substance to your argument. I want you to be specific. What is he good at? What's he going to get better at? Tell me what those stats might look like in 3 years. Don't tell me he's 20. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, we don't want to see your birth certificate.
Yeah, fuck the birth certificate. I'm done with it. Thanks, Christian. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
See you later.